Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Rounds Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. It is interleague play, and this will be the start of the second series as the Yokohama DeNA BayStars are going to take on the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters. A battle of a first-place team in the Pacific and the second-place team in the Central League. We'll go head-to-head here in this one tonight. The big piece is Trevor Bauer is getting the start tonight for the Yokohama Ball Club, and we are glad to be able to give this one to you here. Hopefully you guys are going to be here with us, whether you listen live or on delay. Great to have you with us here, but certainly Bauer has been turning his season around, and he's just starting to get himself onto a roll. Well, first of all, I'll give you the starting lineup for the visitors from Hokkaido. Leading off and playing in left field tonight was the 2024 MVP of interleague play, Shun Mizutani. Batting second and playing second base is number 38, Kaz Ishii. Hitting third at third base is number 21, Kataro Kiyomiya. And the cleanup spot and playing first base is number 99, Franmil Reyes. Batting fifth and playing in right field is number 66, Chusei Manami. Batting in the sixth spot and in center field is number 7, Go Matsumoto. Hitting seventh and doing the catching is number 23, Tori Fushimi. Batting eighth and playing shortstop is number 54, Shu Yamagata. And batting ninth and doing the pitching is number 17, Hiromi Itoh. And they are going to be facing Trevor Bauer, who takes to the hill with a 3-3 record. He's worked 71 innings. He's allowed 62 hits, 26 runs, all of which have been earned. He has walked 18 and struck out 66. He's posted an ERA of 3.30. Well, that's your starting lineup for the visitors from Hokkaido. Now your starting lineup for the home team for the Yokohama DeNA BayStars. Leading off in center field is number 1, Masayuki Kuwahara. Batting second and playing right field is number 4, Ryuki Watari. Batting in the 3 spot and playing first base is number 7, Kaita Sano. And the cleanup spot at second base is number 2, Shugo Maki. Batting fifth in left field is number 25, Yoshi Satsugo. Batting in the 6th spot and doing the catching, number 5, Cheyenne Matsuo. Batting 7th at shortstop is number 9, Yoda Kyoda. Hitting 8th at third base tonight is number 44, Taiki Ishikami. And batting 9th and doing the pitching is number 96, Trevor Bauer. And they're going to be facing the ace of the fighters' staff. Hiromi Itoh will take to the hill. He is 6-2 on the year. He has worked 68 innings, allowed 51 hits, 20 runs, 18 of which have been earned. Walking 10 and striking out 66 and pitching to an ERA of 2.38. Well, those are your starting first pitches just around the corner as Bauer is taken to the hill to start his warm-up tosses. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action here on the Last Rounds Baseball YouTube channel. It is BayStars versus Fighters when we return. We are just a couple minutes away from the first pitch as the ceremonial first pitch is going to be taking place. We'll be right back in just a bit with all the action It is BayStars and the Fighters when we return. Welcome back, everybody. It'll be coming to bat here for the Fighters in inning number 1. It'll be Mizutani, Ishii, and Kiyomiya, as Trevor Bauer is just completing his tune-up tosses, and we're about ready to get this one underway. If I had to put some thoughts on who I thought would win this one here, I'm going to say right now I'm going to give it a slight edge to the BayStars. If this game was being played in Hokkaido with Itoh on the mound against Bauer, I would have leaned heavily towards the Hokkaido Ball Club. But certainly tonight with Bauer here, I was leaning slightly in the direction of Yokohama. Well, he's completed his tune-up tosses. We're ready to get this one underway as Mizutani is stepping in. He's hitting 167 on the year with a homer and 3 RBIs. Our friend Redbeard is in the house, and the first pitch is a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count is quickly 0-1. Jimmy, it looks like it's you, me, and maybe one other, and that's where we're at for tonight. Glad you could be in here with us as the pitch from Bauer on the way is another breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 0-2 on Mizutani. Mizutani was the MVP of the Interleague play last year, but he has struggled this season as the 0-2 on the way is a fastball swung on. This ball is going to be looped softly behind second base, moving back on it and making the catch is the shortstop Kyoto. And that is one away here in the first inning, and that's going to bring up the second baseman in Kazunori Ishii. Redbeard said, all napped up and ready to go. Excellent. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. BayStars are wearing these uniforms here tonight. They're kind of like a mixture of powder blue and the navy, as there is a fastball that's taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Ishii. Ishii hitting 253 on the year, homer and 10 RBIs, as Bauer uses a hesitation move and delivers a fastball which misses upstairs, and the count now goes even at 1-1. Kind of like these tops. They're kind of a mixture, a horizontal mixture of dark blue, light blue, a little bit almost some white in there as well, as there's a breaking ball that misses down and in. The count goes to 2-1. Bauer wearing number 96. One thing I will say is that I do believe that the uniforms, and these are I believe Fanatics is now the ones who are producing uniforms, as there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 2-2. But the word cheap comes to mind. The numbers are not stitched on, they're screened on. Same thing with the Fighters. And they don't look like they're of a high quality, as there's a fastball lifted into straightaway center field. Moving over underneath it and making the catch is Kuwahara, and that's going to retire Ishii for the second out of the inning. And that will bring up the third baseman in Kotaro Kiyomiya. Really good crowd on hand here for this one. In Yokohama, not too many empty seats in our eyes here, as Kiyomiya steps into the plate batting from the left side here against the right-handed throwing Bauer, who kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0. Kiyomiya hitting .242 on the year with 4 homers and 19 runs driven in. As the right-hander Bauer rocks himself into the windup pad, he kicks and delivers. Breaking ball misses down. It's now 2-0. Defensively for the BayStars from left to right field, Tsugo in left, Kuwahara in center, Watari in right. Around the horn from first to third, it's Sano at first, Maki at second, Kyoto at short, and Ishikami at third, with the battery of Bauer and Matsuo. As there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 2-1 on Kiyomiya. So 2 balls and 1 strike it is. Bauer again not using much of a leg kick as he goes right into the delivery, and there's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 3-1 on Kiyomiya. So he's got all the bags of tricks pulled out right now as the right-hander ready to go. He rocks himself into the windup and delivers, and there is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. Kiyomiya started to make his way down to first base, but the right hand of Bauer hauls him back into the batter's box. Right hand of the umpire brings him back to the batter's box, so that Bauer will have a shot at him at 3-2. Here comes the payoff pitch. There's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded softly over to short. Kyoto fields it on the run. He sets his feet, fires to first, and Kiyomiya is going to be retired on a ground out, 6-3 for the third out of the inning. Well, the Fighters go quietly in their half of the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We're through a half inning. It is the Fighters no score and the BayStars coming to bat. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. Coming to bat for the BayStars in their half of the first inning. It'll be Kuwahara, Watari, and Sano as they'll be facing the ace of the fighter staff, Hiromi Itoh. I would have to say that both of these pitchers are going to have to be extremely sharp tonight. As this ball game here, I expect it to be a pitcher's duel going deep into the ball game. The 27-year-old Itoh enjoying himself a fine season this year at 6-2, as we mentioned in the outset. ERA of 2.38. When you think of top pitchers in the NPB, I'd have to say that Itoh, in my opinion, for Japanese pitchers, has got to be one of the top 5 pitchers in all the NPB. Japanese-born, that is. Our friend Pelch says, I'm loving watching Bauer lately. We welcome you to the stream, and we appreciate you for being here. And we've enjoyed watching him, too. It is a reinvention of himself. I have to say, though, we were talking about it in the previous stream, and Bauer chose the number 96 2 years ago because he said he wanted his average fastball to be at 96 miles an hour. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think he touches 96, but he's been sitting more at 94. We'll see how this game develops. I know that sometimes he likes to ease his way into the fastballs. So we'll see what happens here tonight. As the first pitch coming here from Itoh is on the way. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right center field. Moving back onto the warning track, leaping, and it's over the head of Manami, and it's off the wall. He falls down on the track. It's going to be picked up by the center fielder, Matsumoto, and digging around second and heading into third with a leadoff triple is Kuwahara. And he has got things going here for the BayStars in the first inning. A leadoff triple to begin the ball game, and that's going to bring up the right fielder in Ryuki Watari. Pelch says he struggles, but I love his love for the game. Yeah, he's actually getting it going now. He's probably in 4 of his last 5 starts. He's been pretty good. And he's really picked up the pace. So the other part that we were talking about before is he's really incorporated a lot of hesitation moves in his delivery, adopted a lot of things that the Japanese will do to throw the timing of the hitters off. Although I have to say, sometimes I think he outsmarts himself. As the first pitch to Atari is a fastball that's under the hands for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Our friend PXI says, thanks for the broadcast, and it's a great pitching matchup. Yes, it is, and we're glad you can make it in here. I didn't get much sleep today, but I said I can't miss this one. This is too good. Itoh and Bauer. As the pitch is a fastball swung on and line foul down the left field line, and the count goes to 0-2. Our friend All Rails says, I'm surprised he's awake, or he's surprised he's awake. Yeah, I wouldn't want to miss this one. Bauer and Itoh. This is stuff that you wake up early for or stay up late for. I would expect both of these pitchers to go deep into the ballgame. Here's the 0-2. Fastball swung on its chop foul just past the third base coach's box, and the count is 0-2 to Atari. So no balls and 2 strikes. Aurel says he's watching as well. Yeah, it's a bit of a blustery day. It's a cloudy day in Yokohama, a bit blustery. I know in my time there, it was windy a lot, as there's a fastball that misses down, and good stop there by the catcher, Fushimi, on the count to 1-2. Defensively tonight for the Fighters, from left to right field, Mizutani in left, Matsumoto in center. The right fielder is Manami around the horn from first to third, Reyes at first, Ishii at second. The shortstop is Yamagata, and at third, Kiyomiya, with Itoh and Fushimi as the battery. Fastball swung on, grounded to the right side into the 4-hole. A diving stop by the second baseman, Ishii, but he's not going to be able to make the play. That's going to be an infield single and an RBI for Watari, cashing in Kuwahara with the first run of the ball game. BayStars have taken the lead 1-0, and it will bring up the first baseman in Kaida Sano. Our friend Pelch says it's not raining today, which is a great thing. Absolutely. That was another thing. I looked at the forecast. I wanted to see what exactly we were getting ourselves into if we're going to call a game. And certainly that is one of them. All Rails says he loves the BayStars Interleague jersey. Yeah, I was talking about that at the outset. I also like their helmet too. It's a baby blue helmet with a black brim. Those are pretty sweet. As the right-hander Itoh works himself set. And the pitch on the way is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1 to Sano. Jake says, Ito-san is my favorite pitcher because it is a BayStars home game I can't watch. And we appreciate you for popping in. It is. He is from Perth, Australia. Perth, Australia, pretty big baseball community. Probably the strongest baseball community in all of Australia. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball swung on. It is grounded down the right field line, and it just went foul. Oh, boy. Maybe first base umpire had to do a little hopscotch to get out of the way. And it is no balls and 2 strikes. Our friend Pelch says he's watching in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And great to have you with us here. That'll be about 5:13 in the morning in the Ottawa area. So no balls and 2 strikes to Sano. Sano batting at .287 entering the contest tonight with the 4 homers and 28 RBIs. As the right-hander Itoh works himself into the set position. He checks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field. Moving back in front of the warning track is Mizutani. He's going to make the catch, and retreating back to first is going to be Watari. Sano gone for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the second baseman in Shugo Maki. Well, when you think of professional hitters in the Japanese league, I think of Shugo Maki as one of the top 3 or 4 in that category. I often think of Hideo Asamura, the second baseman, now third baseman of the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. Very professional the way they go about their at-bats. Of course, he's getting a little long in the tooth, but Maki hasn't even really gone into his prime yet at 27 years old. The first pitch on the way is a fastball that comes inside for a ball. The count is 1-0. I'd have to also say Kensuke Kondo would be in that mix too from Fukuoka off the top of my head when I think of Japanese hitters that just have a dynamite approach at the plate. I don't know if I could say that even about Murakami or even some of the others. I do like Morishita from the Tigers, but he still has a way to go to get himself into that class, as there's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count is 2-0. But he definitely has all the hallmarks of a professional hitter, does Morishita of the Tigers. Jake says he played against Shugo in the Premier 12. Very good bat-to-ball skills with plus power. As there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. And racing in and making the catch is Matsumoto. He throws to first. And sliding back in time is the runner, Watari. He almost doubled him off. And he's going to retire him. So 2 gone here in the inning. It's going to bring up the left fielder, Yoshi Tsutsugo. Then Jake would be able to answer the question of which the Australian players signed his off-season contract with the Oryx Buffaloes. I forget the fellow's name right off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and look him up, but it was one of the infielders who was one of the top hitters in the Australian Baseball League. I don't know if he's going to get an opportunity or not this year. Definitely is at least a training player, as there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count is 0-1 to Tsutsugo. Tsutsugo spent quite a bit of time in Major League Baseball. He'd come across with the Tampa Bay Rays, and then he got a lot of stickers on his suitcase. He was with the Blue Jays organization, with the Dodgers, with the Pirates, with the Giants, I believe also with the Rangers off the top of my head, as they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is Watari. So the ball's 1 strike here to Tsutsugo. The knock on Tsutsugo is that anything over 95 miles per hour, his batting average was like 100 points lower. And when he got to the World Series against the Dodgers, he didn't get a whole lot of playing time, as that fastball misses inside and the count goes even at 1-1. Our friend Jake says it's Jared Dale. Yeah, Jared Dale. A lot to like about Jared Dale, but lots more to like about Travis Bazana, talking about somebody who can hit that's Australian. I tell you, that guy, the Cleveland Guardians, have got themselves the real deal in Bazana. Here's the 1-1. Fastball swung on and fouled straight back, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Tsutsugo. Pelch says, glad the BayStars are on the board early. Feels that they struggle with that. When I've seen BayStar games in general, there's been a lot of struggling going on with the Yokohama ball club, especially early on. They seem to get themselves into predicaments, or maybe I don't want to say predicaments. They put themselves in situations that they probably shouldn't be in. It's almost like they need that one more bat in the lineup to be able to get that clutch hit and punch a couple more runs across. Tyler Austin not being in the lineup tonight could be that missing bat. So here comes the 1-2 pitch as Itoh holds to the set, now delivers. Fastball taken for a called third strike. Oh, Tsutsugo stood there like the house by the side of the road. He watched it go by for out number 3, and that is going to do it. 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We are through 1 complete. It is the Yokohama DeNA BayStars 1 and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters no score. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for popping in with us tonight, whether it's late night or early morning on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a bit. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the heart of the order to come to bat for the Fighters. That means Franmil Reyes, Chusei Manami, and Go Matsumoto. As the right-hander Bauer kicks and delivers, it's a breaking ball that misses down and away. The count is 1-0. I've got a funny Australian baseball story I'll try to squeeze in here for you. I think you get a kick out of it as there's a breaking ball that is waved at and missed. The count now goes to 1-1 on Reyes. Reyes batting .254, 11 homers and 28 runs batted in, batting from the right side here against Bauer. As the right-hander rocks and delivers, there's a breaking ball that is waved at and missed. Oh, Reyes almost screwed himself into the ground, and the count goes to 1-2. It was a breaking ball that he swung at, but I have to be honest with you, that ball did not have a lot of bite to it. It really kind of hung up in the air, which is not necessarily Bauer's forte. There's a breaking ball swung on, chopped into the ground over to third. Fielding it is Ishikami, and he fires to first. And that is going to retire Reyes on a ground out 5-3 for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up the right fielder in Chusei Manami. Pelch says he's watched, listened to most every game this year, the BayStars, and he said, got to be an unlucky club. Well, they're certainly getting the luck on their side. They've moved up to second in the standings in the Central League. I would have to think it's a 4-horse race for the 3 spots. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1 to Manami. PXI says, I've noticed with a lot of North American baseball, as there's a fastball that misses up and the count goes to 1-1. At the youth and semi-pro level, they're having way too many runs. I think NPB rules can be brought on here to help the game. As the 1-1 pitch is on the way, there's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count is 2-1. You know, I have to admit, I'm not a big fan of slugfests. The Arizona Diamondbacks played the Braves yesterday and came from behind with 7 in the top of the 9th to win 11-10. As there's a fastball swung on it, is grounded, and it eats up the third baseman, Ishikami, and it gets by him into left field, and that is going to be a base hit here for Manami. I would rule it as such. I don't think it would be. It was a ball hit to the glove side. He dropped to his knee, did the third baseman to try to field it. I don't think they're going to rule that an error. That would be pretty harsh if they did. But still, I think some of the Gold Glovers in Major League Baseball would have, or even the average players in the MLB might have come up with that one. So Manami's aboard with a 1-out single. That's going to bring up the center fielder Go Matsumoto. Speaking of struggling, Matsumoto here has really struggled, batting 188 on the year as he takes a breaking ball for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Matsumoto a couple of years ago was one of the top hitters in the NPB batting average-wise. Not only that, he also has been stealing bases over the last few years as well, and all of his production numbers are down. You wonder sometimes if a guy's hurt a little bit or playing banged up, but when you start putting back-to-back years together of futility, that usually is a sign that your game is in the decline, especially when you're on the wrong side of 30. As that pitch misses up, it's 1-1 to Matsumoto. So one of the things, back to the original question PXI asked with regards to the rules, as the pitch is on the way, Matsumoto bunts and it's back to the mound. Fielding it is Bauer. He fires to first. That is going to retire Matsumoto. It's going to be a sacrifice. It's going to be 1-3 on the putout. He's gone for the second out of the inning. It's going to bring Tori Fushimi to the plate as it moves Manami into scoring position here with 2 gone. Well, one of the things that you notice with the Japanese league is the strength and the power has come from the import players, unless your name is Murakami or Okamoto. They usually bring the import players in. You got to have some juice in the stick. That's typically been a trait of what they've had on the offensive side. As the right-hander Bauer kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball waved at and missed. Count is 0-1. You look at the physicality of the players. I really like the fundamental skills of the Japanese player. I admire their skills. But when you think of major league players, and you think of the shortstops that can go backhand into the 6-hole and fire 90 some odd plus across the diamond, you don't necessarily have that in the Japanese league. So some of the tools that they have just aren't quite there. There's a breaking ball swung on and lifted into left field. Coming hard and making the catch on the run is Satsugo. And that is going to do it here as the Fighters are going to be gone in their half of the second inning. I'll come back and continue to give you my thoughts on that a little bit, but it does affect the offense. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We are now moving to the bottom half of inning number 2. Your score is the BayStars 1 and the Fighters no score. I got to update my ticker, and we'll be back in just a few. I'm really happy you guys are hanging in here with us tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Not sure what time it is where you're at, but it is 2:25 where I am in the morning. And we're going to have to figure out how to stay awake later today. We'll be back in a bit. A good story for our friend Jake, if he's still in here, and everybody else that's listening in. It's an Australian baseball story. You can go take a look. You can look him up in the Oceania Australia Foundation. There's a fellow, his name is Chet Gray. Chet Gray was an American. We went to Cal Poly. He was a pitcher, and had dinner with him, his son, and a friend of mine a few years ago, as his son was going to be coming to university and playing volleyball in Canada. Anyways, Chet's went down to Australia, and he had an opportunity to play or extend his career. I believe, well, he played at Cal Poly, and I believe he spent time in the Montreal Expos organization, if memory serves me correctly. He was telling us a story that he was going to get into the business. His buddy's dad had a vegetable distribution company, and he was going to be involved in the distribution. And then he got a phone call and said, hey, would you like to come to Australia and play? And it happened to be in Perth, of all places. And so this would have been in the early 80s. And so he ended up going down, late 70s, early 80s, and he went down to play. And he was telling us a story that he flew in, and not only they fly him in, wherever they flew him into, then they had this long drive to get to where he had to be. And the folks who picked him up said, well, there's the uniform is in the area where you're staying. Why don't you try it on when you come to the field? And he literally had this long flight from Los Angeles down to Australia. And the next thing you know, he's at the ballpark, and his team, the team he's joining, is playing. And they said, well, would you like to throw a bullpen? And he said, sure. He goes down and throws a bullpen. And then they're like, well, would you like to go in and pitch? And he's like, holy jeez. Just flown how many hours and got off the plane? And he's like, sure, no problem. So he goes out to pitch, and he didn't know what he was getting himself into. And he ended up serving up a home run to a guy. And he's like, who the heck is that? He said it was like about a 450-foot blast. And at the time, it was whoever it was the best Australian baseball player. He got to face him right out of the gate after a 20-hour plane ride down to the land of Oz. There's a breaking ball swung on, and it's grounded foul. The first pitch here to Cheyenne Matsuo. So no balls and 1 strike. Matsuo batting .294 with 3 homers and 10 RBIs. Batting here to lead off for the BayStars in their half of the second. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes to 1-1. Our friend Bradley Dunn says, free Trevor Bauer. There you go. As the pitch is on the way, there is a fastball that just misses inside, and the count now, or check that, the count is catches the inside corner, count goes to 1-2. Yeah, the fellow's name was Chet Gray. So if you look up Chet Gray, he actually, as it turned out, he played down in Australia and ended up staying there. He married an Australian gal, and he's been involved with the Australian Baseball Federation, as there's a ground ball hit to second, fielded neatly by the second baseman Ishii, who throws to first, and Matsuo's in the books, ground out 4-3 for the first out of the inning. So anyways, that was the kind of the funny story that stuck with me, that he was telling how he ended up in Australia and how he ended up pitching and extending and playing a few more years. And next thing you know, he was married, and whatever it was, 25 years, 30 years later, having kids and making it his home, and loves it down there. There's the first pitch fastball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0 to Yota Kyoto. So as I said, if you just Google him, you'll see that he was involved with the Oceanic region in baseball. There was a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. The count is 1-1 to Kyoto. Kyoto hitting $175, no homers and 2 RBIs. Our friend Allrail says he's going to head out for a bit. Well, pop back in when something exciting happens. There's a fastball swung on, is lifted into center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. And Kyoto is going to be aboard with a 1-out single. Matsumoto was coming in hard, but he had to take it on the short hop. He wasn't able to make the grab there. So Kyoto has got himself a 1-out single. That'll bring up the third baseman in Taiki Ishikami. Well, for Ishikami, he's hitting 156 on the season, no homers and 5 RBIs. Our friend Jake says that he watched Rhys Hoskins hit one of the furthest balls he'd ever seen hit off a teammate. As there's a first pitch fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. Then got beat by Otani hitting a ball off a teammate at the Tokyo Dome. It hit halfway up the scoreboard. Yeah, it's pretty impressive when you see certain things and you see certain players and what they can do at certain levels of play. I always talk about different tools and how the tools will play, and then they start to fade away a little bit. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted down the left field line. And this ball is going to drift into the seats, and it's going to run the count to 0-2. In 2019, I took a group of 13 and 14-year-olds to Austria and the Czech Republic. And unfortunately, I just found out the news this week. I had a connection with the fella in Czech Republic. He was actually involved with the World Baseball Classic team in 2023. David Winkler was his name. And I had some communication after we'd come back from the Czech with him, as there's a fastball that misses down. And unfortunately, the news on David was he had passed away last year suddenly. Sounded like it was a heart attack, although I don't know that confirmed. I know somebody from the Federation had communicated that to me, and unfortunately, it's far too soon, 44 years of age. But we were able to, the story I was getting to is we took our kids over to the Czech Republic and played in a tournament, as well as playing in Austria. And one of the young fellows who came with us is in the Toronto Blue Jays organization right now. He was drafted in 2023. There's a young fellow named Sam Shaw. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded softly to second, fielded by Ishii. He flips it to second, but there's no throw back to first. It's going to be a fielder's choice. It erases Kyoto. Goes in the books 4-6 for the second putout. So Ishikami is safe at first. It's going to bring Trevor Bauer to the plate with 2 gone here in the second. But I was talking about interesting things. We were doing our training camp in Traiskirchen. And again, 13 and 14-year-olds, and the kids are taking BP on the field. And Sam was hitting balls into the pull gap from the left side, about 395 feet over the wall, as the fastball is taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1. And it was kind of funny because the first team players who play in the Austrian league were coming in watching the 13, 14-year-olds take BP. And we had this kid wearing out the scoreboard and the fence in right center field. They couldn't believe it, as there's a fastball swung through and missed. The count is now 0-2 to Bauer. And Bradley Dunn calling for 450 to straightaway. I don't think that's going to happen. Unless the ball hits the bat. I don't think the bat's going to hit the ball in this case. So no balls and 2 strikes to Bauer as the right-hander Itoh ready to go back to work. Here comes the 0-2. As he kicks and fires, there's a fastball waved at and missed. Bauer down on strikes. That's only the second strikeout recorded by Itoh tonight. Bauer in the books for the third out of the inning, and that will do it here for the BayStars in their half of inning number 2. Well, they had no runs in the inning. There was a hit, no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We'll be back in just a couple moments. It'll be the top of the third inning when I return after this. Guys, it is Last Wraps Baseball and the NPB when we return. Boy, I better get that coffee going pretty soon. Or if you hear a clunk, it's my head hitting the table here. We'll be right back in just a bit. I guess while we're out here name dropping, Jake, I got a name for you. Do you ever hear of a guy named Sam Jew? Jew. He pitched at Palomar, and then he ended up pitching, I believe, at Arkansas State. And he had spent some time in Europe as well, Germany and a couple of other countries plying his trade, playing baseball. He was Australian. Anyways, chew on that for a bit, and I'll be back in just a moment with all the action. Appreciate you guys for being here with us tonight. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat for the Fighters. That's Shu Yamagata, Hiromi Itoh on the top of the order in Shin Mizutani, as they will be facing Trevor Bauer here as the right-hander rocks himself into the windup and delivers. Breaking ball swung on it is chopped foul just to the left of the bag at third base. No balls and 1 strike to Yamagata. Yamagata hitting .203 on the season, homer and 4 RBIs. Crowd is in good form here tonight. So Yamagata in the hole here at 0-1. Our friend All Rail says he's back in, but currently on his phone. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is belted in deep left field. This ball could be trouble. This ball is off the wall. Satsuga fields it on the hop. Fires it in. Here comes the throw to second base, but it's not going to be able to retire Yamagata as he is going to slide in there safely with a double. Oh boy, he turned on that one. If you guys were with us last week when Bauer was pitching and they had the first pitch of the ball game was deposited into the seats, it kind of reminded me of that. Letter high fastball. He absolutely turned on, but it was only halfway up the wall. Double here for Yamagata. That's going to bring up the pitcher in Hiromi Itoh. You can bet dollars to donuts that we're probably going to see ourselves a sacrifice bunt in this situation here. Well, Itoh batting from the left side. Who knew? The right-handed pitcher. He's got all the body armor on that right elbow that you could imagine, and rightfully so. But you're going to have to think he's going to be squaring to bunt here as the right-hander Bauer ready to go. I'm thinking first pitch is going to be a high fastball. Try to induce a pop-up. It looks like he's got a torpedo bat. as the right-hander does the inside spaghetti move and it chases him back to second. Jake says, do we only do BayStar games? No, we sometimes squeeze some MLB games in, but really it depends on some of the stuff that we do. I'd like to try to get as many Bauer games in as I can. I like watching him. As there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count is 0-1 to Itoh. So Itoh showing zero signs of bunting. Oh boy. Actually, that was a split finger pitch on a Bauer. Had a drop like a breaking ball, like a 12-6 breaking ball. This is actually the first year we've done more games in the Central League. We'd like to do a lot of the Pacific League games over the last few years. Late night in North America, and there's another split finger pitch waved out and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Itoh. So I don't understand why they wouldn't take the bat out of Ito's hands and make him bunt. That torpedo bat that he's got, it's two-toned. It's black, and it's got the more tan handle. Looks like a bowling pin, and there's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. Nice job there by the catcher to field it, and Matsuo able to gun down Itoh at first base. It's a strikeout, 2-3. Did a pretty good job of holding the runner there. So Itoh is gone for the first out of the inning. No advancement by Yamagata. It's going to bring Mizutani up to the plate. Jake says he's got the Pacific League because the Fighters are his team. Also with a couple of the Eagle players that came to play in the Oz League. Unfortunately, no English subtitles. Yeah, that's always a bit of a problem. So what people do is they'll like to sync up our feed and match it up to the game and maybe delay it a little bit. As the first pitch from Bauer on the way is a breaking ball. The miss is down, and the count is 1-0. Yeah, so the one Australian was Sam Jew, and there was another Australian, too, who played for Mannheim, and I can't remember his name. It escapes me right now. I'd have to go back and take a look. I remember when we were playing Mannheim, we had a French national team pitcher who struck him out to end the game. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into left field. Satsuko coming in hard, slides and makes the catch. And retreating back to second was Yamagata. That is going to retire Mizutani for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone here in the third. That's going to leave it all up to the second baseman, Kazunori Ishii. Let's see if I can remember who that other Australian player was who had spent time there. There was at least 2 or 3. There were a couple other fellas from all over the place in Germany who had played. Getting that opportunity to get a chance to play overseas is a way to extend the career for some, and for some even do more of it. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. The count is quickly 0-1 to Ishii. So no balls and 1 strike. Ishii batting from the left side, 25 for 100 this year, batting the even 250 with a homer and 10 RBIs. As the right-hander Bauer works himself to the set position, he checks the runner at second. Now he kicks and delivers. There is a split finger pitch swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. The count is 0-2. One thing that frustrates me personally is I think it's the thought process of the old school Central League, especially because of their TV contracts. The Tigers, the Swallows, and the Giants are really tight-vested. Trying to get their games or their home games is like trying to get an act of God. It's impossible. As the pitch from Bauer is on the way, there's a breaking ball swung on, grounded over to second. Fielded neatly by the second baseman, Mackey, who throws to first, and Bauer's going to get away with that leadoff double. Not coming around to score. Ground out 4-3 for the third out of the inning. That's going to do it here for the Fighters. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We are now moving to the bottom half of inning number 3. It is a 1-0 lead for the BayStars. We'll be back in just a couple moments. And it is Going to be a little bit of NPB cheer for you until we return. Welcome back, everybody. We are skipping along here to the bottom half of inning number 3. It'll be the top of the order in Kuwahara, Watari, and Sano to come to bat here for the BayStars. As we are going to get Hiromi Itoh here for his 3rd inning of work. Itoh allowed that 1 run in the 1st inning, and said it early, once these two starters get into a rhythm, it's going to be very tough to get after them. And I would think that this game here, we might not see too many more runs as long as these two are in the ball game. As the right-hander ready to deliver, he kicks and fires. It's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count is 1-0. Kuwahara walked his first time up, and he came around to score the only run of the ball game so far. He was brought home on a RBI single. Sorry, he tripled his first time up. I guess I got to be able to read my writing at almost 3 a.m. here. Had that leadoff triple over the head of the right fielder Manami. As that breaking ball misses down, it's now 2-0. Jake says he likes the Pacific League TV. You can watch whatever you want. Yeah, there's a couple of young kids that came out of our area here that are in the NPB. Artaro Yamaguchi did some of our programming a number of years ago. He was drafted in the development round by the Hokkaido Ball Club. As there's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. I haven't checked in on him recently. He tore his ACL last year and missed most of the season. It looks like he's back playing again, which is good for him. And the other one is, I never had him in our program, but Joseph Sinclair. There's a breaking ball that misses down. It's now 3-1. Joe Sinclair, I was a first round pick in the development or the development draft by the Saitama Cebu Lions. I understand he may have a torn labrum. As there's a fastball swung on, this ball is lifted into right field. Moving over underneath it is Manami, and he's there to make the catch. And that is going to retire Kuwahara for the first out of the inning. So it's good to see that there's some fellas that are getting their opportunities. In some ways, I almost want to say survivors. Sometimes in this game, you have to be a survivor to play. There are a lot of players that play and they give up too soon, or the game comes too easy too early, and then they don't know how to handle the frustration and disappointment. And then there's other guys that just keep right on grinding. Breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Watari. Watari singled home the only run of the ball game thus far. As the right-hander is delivered, and there is a breaking ball that's down, but the home plate umpire goes up with the right hand, saying that Watari went around. Bradley Dunn asked the question, says, what has happened to Carter Stewart? Is he injured? Not only is he injured, I saw a report that he is done for the year. It's always hard to get injury reports out of Japan, as that is a split finger pitch missing down and away, and the count goes to 1-2. I saw about maybe a month ago he had went back to the States, maybe even a little more than that, probably in early April, went back to the States. And then they announced his return to Japan about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they said his season is over. So I'm not exactly sure what the issue is, or if it was a surgery that he had, or as that fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is 1-2 to Watari. So Carter Stewart Jr. is a big, huge loss in the rotation for Fukuoka. He was just coming into his own last year. with the SoftBank Hawks. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on, lifted down the line in left field, racing over, but he's not going to be able to get it is Mizutani. It's going to drop in. Rounding first, but now slamming on the brakes is Watari. He's got himself his second hit of the ball game. And that'll bring up the first baseman in Kaida Sano. Well, for Sano, he's entered the game hitting .287. 0 for 1 tonight as he flew out to left field in his first trip to the plate. I have a feeling this one here is going to be a very, very stingy game in terms of the offense. If we have the gamblers who shoot in the fifth inning, probably a good bet if you took the under on this one here tonight, as that fastball misses inside and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball, no strikes it is. Itoh working set now delivers. There's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count goes to 2-0. It's funny in certain countries where you see how there is really strength in baseball. I was mentioning earlier in Australia, when you consider Perth, which is where Jake is, I think Jake calls his home. If I'm not mistaken, Dave Nielsen was from Perth. Arguably one of the best players of all time out of Australia. There's a fastball swung on, grounded under the glove of the second baseman, Ishii, as he was diving to his left. It's going to get into right field, but Watari is going to stop at second. Sano's going to get himself a base hit, and now the BayStars have something brewing here in the third inning. That's going to bring up the second baseman in Shugo Maki. And for Mackey, well, he's 0 for 1 tonight. He flew out to center field his first time up. Not going to be able to do a game tomorrow night, unfortunately, but we'll be back on the air for Sunday, and we'll have to take a look. I like to look at the pitching matchups. We'll try to see who that's going to be, but it'll be 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern if you're in North America. That would be a 2 o'clock Japan time game. As there's a fastball that Mackey tries to check his swing on, but he couldn't hold up as he went around for a strike, as so says the first base umpire. So no balls and 1 strike. Jake says he thinks Dave Nielsen's from Brisbane. Oh, yeah. As the right-hander is ready to deliver, here's the pitch. There is a fastball swung on and is fouled away right at the feet of Mackey, and the count is 0-2. Peter Moylan is from Perth, as is Luke Hughes and Liam Hendricks. Liam Hendricks, of course, a cancer survivor. I think he's with the Red Sox currently in Major League Baseball. He bounced around a lot of teams. Not mistaken, the White Sox, Oakland. He might have been a Blue Jay even for a bit. Luke Hughes, I think Luke Hughes is the youngster, if I'm not mistaken, with the Aussies. As there's a fastball swung on, it's grounded softly over to short. They go to second for 1, back to first, and it's not in time. Sano's going to be retired on a 5-4 fielder's choice. He's gone for the second out of the inning. Watari safe at third. Mackey safe on the backside on that fielder's choice. It's going to leave it all up to the left fielder, Yoshi Satsugo. Was able to catch quite a few of those games in the Premier 12. I'm actually going to be in Taiwan at the end of the summer. More of a personal holiday, but also reaching out to the Chinese Taipei Baseball Federation. I want to try to create an opportunity where we could take some young kids over to be able to play and make it a cultural experience. But while I'm there, I'm going to try to get to about 3 or 4 games while I'm in Taiwan. Certainly, I think there's a couple of games at the Taipei Dome as well. Get down to Kaohsiung, Taichung. Be able to see some of the Chinese Professional League. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field. First of all, Mizutani started in, and then he backs up and he makes the catch. Tsutsugo hit the ball right on the screws, but Mizutani's going to haul it in for the third out of the inning. BayStars threaten but don't score. Itoh wiggles out of it. No runs in the inning, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left the board. A third of the ball game is now in the books. Your score is the Yokohama DeNA BayStars 1 and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back after this from our good friend Matt Hollis. Be sure to check Matt out after the game. He'll keep you always entertained. He's got some wild and goofy stuff, that's for sure. We'll be right back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the top of the 4th inning. Kentaro Kiyomiya, Franmil Reyes, and Chusei Manami. You come to bat here in inning number 4 to face Trevor Bauer. Jake says we might have watched him strike out. Possibly. Got to see some of those late night games from the Premier 12. As the first pitch from Bauer on the way is a breaking ball that misses upstairs. The count is 1-0. 37 pitches through the first 3 innings for the American right-hander. That's probably one of his more economical starts. As the pitch is a breaking ball, take it for a called strike. The count's 1-1. Bradley Dunn says, how is the Hong Kong national team? Not very good. They actually do have a program. Knew a fellow who was involved there for a bit, as there is a fastball that misses down. The count is 2-1. But I got to be honest, at this point in my life, I don't know if I would want to take that up as an adventure other than that being an adventure. There's enough issues that we have here trying to get our youth to play better ball and the parents that coach them to be better. As there's a fastball swung on, it's grounded over to first, fielded neatly by Kaitasano. He's going to step on the bag, and Kiyomiya is going to be retired on a ground out to 3 for the first out of the inning. 1 gone, it'll bring up the first baseman in Franmil Reyes. I have to say, when you think of North America, you think of, that there's going to be pretty good baseball around and about, or the coaching is going to be pretty good, and it can be pretty sketchy at times. But I have to say, when I was in Europe, and again, when we crossed paths with David Winkler and his group from Brno, as that breaking ball misses upstairs, there was another team called Olympia Blansko that came and played in the tournament. And my thoughts on the team, and even the Austrians, it wasn't that they were great players, but it was that they were actually getting really good fundamental coaching. There's a fastball that's taken on the outside corner for a called strike, and the count's 1-1. And sometimes I wonder if the coaching is better sometimes in Europe or other places than it is here. Fastball swung on, grounded over to short, fielded neatly by Kyoto. Throws to first. It's going to be a ground out 6-3 for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone, and it's going to bring up the right fielder in Chusei Manami. I know people might think that's kind of strange at times, but it really depends on the level of play that you're at, whether or not you're getting good information or not. It's unbelievable sometimes how the etiquette of the game can go just sideways when you have some folks that haven't been around it much and they're trying to coach it. Well, that brings Manami to the plate. He singled his first time up, and he was left stranded at second. First pitch breaking ball, taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Jake might have been able to have faced a fellow that came out of my area. I played with his dad a little bit. His dad's significantly older than me, but it was at a time when I was in my late teens, early 20s. Breaking ball misses down. His son is Evan Rutsky. Rutsky has spent quite a bit of time in Australia. So 1 ball and 1 strike as the right-hander Bauer delivers. Fastball swung on it, is grounded over to short. Fielded neatly by the shortstop Kyoto, who fires to first, and that is going to do it as the Fighters go in order and quietly here in the 4th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. Your score as we move to the bottom of the 4th inning. It is the BayStars 1 and the Fighters no score. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us on the Last Rounds Baseball YouTube channel. Having fun tonight while we can keep our eyes open. We're an hour deep into this, and I can't believe we're already in the 4th inning. We're glad you guys could be here, though, to listen in. Right back after this.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. That's right, everybody. We know baseball, and we definitely don't know golf, but we're glad you guys are back in here with us, as it is going to be coming to bat for the BayStars, Matsuo, Kyoto, and Ishikami. And the first pitch fastball misses upstairs to Matsuo for ball 1. 47 pitches for the right-hander Itoh so far. As the right-hander delivers, there is a fastball swung on and fouled away. So just back to Rutsky for a minute. He was originally in the Yankees organization, and then he ended up with Atlanta for a cup of coffee. He was a Rule 5 pick. Ended up back with the Yankees. If you want a good story, just Google his name, and general manager Brian Cashman he was kind of throwing the Yankees under the bus there for a bit, as there was a fastball swung on and fouled away over on the first base side. The count is 1-2. But his dad was a really good hitter. His dad was by trade a roofer. And he had Popeye-like forearms from his elbows to his wrist. They were huge. As there's a fastball swung on, this ball is going to be looped into center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. And Matsuo is aboard with a leadoff single here to start the 4th. And that'll bring up the shortstop and Yota Kyoto. But his dad, Paul, was as good an amateur player, not just locally, but in the country. He was with I believe he had stops with our national team as well. I know definitely Dave Cooper did. 2 guys that were out of that area that were very good ball players. And Rudder played what seemed like forever. So I think when I was about 19 years old or 20, he would have been probably pushing mid to late 30s at the time. Outstanding player for many years. And the son was a pitcher, left-handed pitcher. And you don't throw those guys over that they can bring it up into the low mid-90s. He'd actually spent some time in Japan too, but he was with a independent team or one of the industrial league teams. So there's a fastball that misses upstairs to Kyoto, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Kyoto singled his first time up. He was erased on a fielder's choice. Runner at first is Matsuo. I'm a little surprised here they're not thinking about bunting him along a little bit here and taking their cracks to try to bring him home, as there is a pitch that swung on in the dirt and missed. Well, that answers that question. Matsuo has stolen second base. And that is, Fushimi wasn't able to come up with it. The pitch was in the dirt. And then when he was able to get it, he couldn't make the transfer. So Matsuo is at second here with nobody out. And it's a ball and a strike here to Kyoto. It was a split finger pitch. There it was there. We get the replay of it. He actually did a pretty good job to get it on the backhand, and then he couldn't get it out of his glove, couldn't make the transfer. So the runner, Matsuo, at second base with nobody gone here as Kyoto has even the count at 1-1. Now he's squaring to bunt. As Itoh holds to the set, here comes the pitch. And he bunts, and this one is bunted foul behind home plate, and that runs the count to 1-2. Well, let's see if the BayStars keep the bunt on here with 2 strikes. Bradley Dunn says, youth coaching in the U.S. is awful overall. It's really gone in a lot of ways to what AAU basketball has become. I remember, I'm not a huge basketball fan per se, but I do like the game, and I do find it fascinating at times. And certainly one of the things I've got buddies who are involved in the sport, as there's a fastball that is swung on and missed, and that is going to retire Kyoto. He's gone for the first out of the inning. And at the college level, one of the fellas said, he goes, when you get a European player, they're practicing 4 or 5 times a week and playing once, and you get an American player, and they're playing 5-6 games a week and maybe practicing once. And the game is completely different. The fundamental skills of the basketball players have gone by the wayside. Well, you could say that a lot about the practices in the United States for baseball. You know, there's 2 things that people are investing in: throwing and hitting. There's the breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. But actually playing the game, the fundamental skills. Our friend Eric, who does the little commercial for us, he says the 2 most neglected parts of the game are bunting and base running. And I couldn't agree more. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. As the right-hander delivers, there is a split finger pitch swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left center field. This ball is going to be trouble, and it's going to get over the head of Matsumoto all the way to the wall. Rounding third and heading home is Matsuo, and standing on second base with a RBI double is Ishikami. And the BayStars have doubled their lead to 2-0. So a couple of the least likely BayStars to produce a run have come through here, as Ishikami knocks home Matsuo with the second run of the game, and that'll bring up the pitcher in Trevor Bauer. It's also going to bring Tori Fushimi out to the mound to talk to Itoh. Looking at that pitch, that ball was absolutely scorched into the power alley in left center field. Matsumoto did a pretty good job of running that one down. But the BayStars now with a 2-0 lead, and it is going to bring the aforementioned Trevor Bauer to the plate. Something that Bauer hasn't really done lately is pitched with a lead, and he's going to get this opportunity here. So Bauer at the plate. And he's squaring to bunt, and the first pitch is bunted foul off the catcher Fushimi. The count is quickly 0-1. Probably not the worst idea to try to get him 90 feet from home plate. Bauer entered the game tonight 1 for 20 at the plate. He's now officially 1 for 21. He's hitting .048, and he is squaring to bunt again. Here's the pitch. And he bunts it. And this one's a good one. As Itoh comes off the mound to field it, he throws to first. Oh, boy. Kazunori Ishii had to come off the base to get it, and then he was able to re-tag it. A good bunt there by Bauer. It's going to go down as a sacrifice. It's going to go in the books 1-4 on the putout. Advancing over to third is Ishikami. So that's a productive at bat. Should be a high 5 for Bauer outage in the dugout. That's 2 gone here, and it'll bring up the top of the order in Masayuki Kuwahara. So all kinds of high 5s for Bauer as he gets back into the dugout. Well, Kuwahara at the plate here. He is a 1 for 2 tonight. He had the triple and scored a run in the first, and he flew out to right in the third. As the right-hander Itoh delivers, there's a fastball that comes inside, almost hits Kuwahara. Ball ran in under the hands. 1 ball and no strikes. Some late night baseball, Japanese style. As the BayStars have themselves a 2-0 lead here over the Fighters in the bottom half of inning number 4. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, popped up on the left side of the infield, moving over underneath it, battling the wind. Oh, it's going to be trouble, and it is going to be hauled in by Kiyomiya. Oh boy, that was not for the weak-hearted in that one there, but he does make the catch. As Kuwahara is going to be gone for the third out of the inning. The wind was playing havoc. 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. Your score as we move now to the top of the 5th inning. It is 2-0 for the BayStars. Hang with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the top of the 5th inning. It'll be Go Matsumoto, Tori Fushimi, and Sho Yamagata to come to bat here to face Trevor Bauer in inning number 5. Hiromi Itoh has given up a couple of runs. Bauer has only given up a couple of hits, as he has got himself in a good position here so far in this one. This is always the part of the ball game where I have to get worried about Bauer. He seems to lose focus at times. 47 pitches for the right-hander as he delivers a breaking ball that misses upstairs for ball, and the count is 1-0. Matsumoto had a sacrifice bunt his first time up. He's still batting $188 on the year. No homers and a couple RBIs. As the right-hander delivers, it's a fastball that's waved at and missed, and the count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. As mentioned, we're not going to be on the airwaves tomorrow night, but we will make a return. It would be on late Saturday night, North American time, Sunday morning, or the Sunday game in Japan. As the 1-1 on the way. There's the breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count is 1-2. Usually make the matchups. I like to see good pitchers duels when I can. But at the same time, I'm not sure exactly who we would have. I think all the American pitchers have been used up over the last couple of days for the BayStars, which would be Kay and Jackson. And of course, Bauer tonight. As the 1-2 pitch is on the way, there's a fastball that just misses outside. Count goes to 2-2. Got a chance to see the BayStars live the last couple of years, and both times got to see them in Saitama to see the Lions, or at least in Tokazawa. See them play the Saitama Cebu Lions. There's a fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count remains at 2-2 to Matsumoto. I was talking earlier about the jerseys, and as I said, faxed into Japan. I'm pretty sure that these are Fanatics-made jerseys. have to be honest. I'm really surprised at just how cheap they look. There's a breaking ball down. I peel over to the first base umpire, but they say that Matsumoto didn't go. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Lettering is screened on it. What it looks like is a soccer jersey. So too is the fighters. I don't know if I necessarily like theirs either. I think theirs got a bit of a tackiness to it. As the 3-2 pitch is on the way. And there is a fastball that misses upstairs. It's going to be ball 4, and that's going to be the first walk issued tonight by Trevor Bauer. Matsumoto's got himself a leadoff walk here to start the 5th. That's going to bring the catcher Tori Fushimi up to the plate. Our friend Jimmy Redbeard in here. It's got to be almost close for you to be heading home, Jimmy. Burning that midnight oil. So runner at first, Matsumoto. Fushimi striding the plate. 0 for 1 tonight. He has flown to left field, his only trip to the plate. As the right-hander Bauer works himself to the set. And the pitch on the way. Fushimi squares the bunt, and he takes a fastball outside for a ball. And the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Talking earlier when Bradley Dunn says about the coaching in the U.S. is awful overall. As I said about the fundamental skills, just the philosophy of the game, even in the U.S. But I also say I think that's got to do with the Latin American influence. There's a fastball that is squared to bunt on again by Fushimi, and he has to pull back. But it did catch the inside corner, and the count now goes even to 1-1. Abilities to bunt, abilities to hit and run. Games like Pepper, not played very often anymore. I was going to do that tonight with my kids. And I've got the 13 and 14-year-olds. I was thinking about doing a little bit of Pepper with them, certainly for the hands. It's almost a lost art. One thing about the Asian players typically are handsy. They got a lot of good hands. They can good 2-strike approach. They can flick balls away. Fastball swung on, grounded over to second. They go to second for 1. Back to first. It's a double play. Sorry, it's ground ball to third. It's going to be a 5-4-3 double play. So Matsumoto going to be gone for the first out. Fushimi on the back end. So 5-4-3 in the books. And that is going to leave it all up to the shortstop, Shu Yamagata. Just as a reminder, there is going to be what we like to call the Japanese halftime after the 5th inning. That's where they take their break. Although the games in the Central League don't seem to have as long a break, as there's a first pitch fastball swung on and fouled away. Count is 0-1 to Yamagata. Heard a funny story the other day from Eduardo Perez, and he was talking about the break in between the 5th and the 6th inning as a split finger misses down. He says when he first got over to Japan, he was like, didn't know where the players, didn't know where everybody was going. And he says a lot of guys would leave and it would be a smoke break. I don't know if that's so much in today's game, but they would all go down the tunnel and they'd be puffing like dragons. There's a fastball that misses outside. And the count now goes to 2-1 on Yamagata. So the umpires too, they'd be underneath and they'd be just puffing away like crazy. And then they'd get back out and finish the ball game. Jake says we call it a smoko break. Yes, absolutely. 2 balls and 1 strike. I think it was down in New Zealand. A friend of mine was involved with the Oceanic baseball. It wasn't Chet, but a friend of Chet Gray's. He was telling me there's a fastball swung on, is grounded down the third baseline. It goes off the glove and into the corner, and they're going to have to hurry. Here comes the throw into second base, and it's not going to be in time. And that is going to be a double here for Yamagata. It was a bit of a weird play. Certainly, it's been a tough night at the office at third base for Ishikami. Earlier, he had a ball, but when moving to his left, he couldn't come up with. And this one here, he dropped to the ground on his backhand side. It ended up off his glove, and it went into the corner where the ball boy was seated. He was able to chase it down, but they throw it out in time, and I'm not sure what Shugo Maki was doing. Maki was about 2 or 3 feet to the left side of second base, and when he caught the ball, he had to reach back and put the tag on. And the look from Trevor Bauer said it all. He's probably saying, "Get to your bag." That's the second double of the night here for Yamagata. It's going to bring up the pitcher in Hiromi Itoh. And the first pitch to Itoh as a split finger pitch misses down, and the count is 1-0. Friend God is Great is in the house. Welcome in here. We're taking attendance there, Titus, and we're glad you could be in here. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. As the right-hander kicks and fires, there's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count is 1-1 to Itoh. 2 gone here in the 5th inning. Runner at second is Yamagata, as the Fighters are in a 2-0 deficit here to the Yokohama DeNA BayStars. As the pitch is on the way, there's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Itoh. Got to tell you, Itoh doesn't get a chance to hit. He looks like a hitter. Stands in. He's got a good stance, everything ready to go. Until you watch his swing. His swing is a little bit to be desired. Got a little bit of a loop in it. Here's the 1-2. And there is a fastball swung on, missed. It's in the dirt. Ito's going to make his way to first. It's going to be a strikeout, 2-3 on the putout, and that is going to do it here for the 3rd out of the inning. As the Fighters strand a runner aboard, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left here in the 5th. We're halfway through this one. Your scores, the BayStars 2 and the Fighters no score. Hang with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action when we return after this little timeout. We got ourselves a 2-0 ball game. It is the BayStars coming to bat in the bottom half of the 5th. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the bottom half of inning number 5. Trevor Bauer has had a pretty much a clean slate through his first 5 innings of work. He's only allowed 3 hits and 1 walk. He has been very good so far in this one. On the flip side of the coin, Hiromi Itoh has been pretty good as well, but not good as his counterpart. He has allowed the 2 runs so far through the first 4 innings. He's also given up 7 hits to this point. So it is going to be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters to come to bat for the BayStars. That means Watari, Sano, and Maki to face the right-hander Itoh here, as this one is ready to be resumed. So the left-handed hitting Watari waiting on the offering here from the right-hander Itoh, who kicks and delivers a first pitch fastball that swung on and fouled away. Count is quickly 0-1. Yeah, Jimmy's got a little one. She's 8 months old, or 9 months old now, as that fastball was lifted foul by Watari. No balls and 1 strike. 61 pitches through the first 4 for Itoh as there was a fastball swung on and lifted foul. Count goes to 0-2 on Watari. She's going to keep you busy, Jimmy. That is for sure for the next 20 years of your life and more. So no balls and 2 strikes as the right-hander kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on, grounded over to short. Fielded on the run by the shortstop Yamagata, who throws to first. He's going to retire Watari on a ground out 6-3. Watari in the books for out number 1. That'll bring up the first baseman in Kaida Sano. Well, for Sano, he's 1 for 2 tonight. He's singled in his 2 trips. He was raced on a fielder's choice in the 3rd inning. As Sano strides to the plate, he gets the nod at first base tonight. As we said, no Tyler Austin in this one. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Sano. With that hit, early on, Sano's raised his season average up to 289. As the pitch is on the way, it's a split finger pitch missing down, and the count goes even to 1-1. We were talking about good pitching matchups. Obviously, Itoh and Bauer here tonight. As the 1-1 is on the way, there's a fastball that's center cut for a called strike, and the count's 1-2. But I would say a pitching matchup that I would love to see would be Itoh against Tetsuya Mai of the Saitama Seibu Lions. I've seen both pitchers pitch live, but not against one another. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a fastball waved on and missed. And that is going to retire Sano. He's in the books for the 2nd out of the inning. He's going to leave it all up to the second baseman in Shugo Maki. Well, for Maki, he is 0 for 2 tonight. He's bounced into a fielder's choice and flown out to center field as he comes to bat here to face Itoh for the 3rd time. Other thing that is in the favor of Bauer tonight is the pitch efficiency. Bauer has been very good. Although last inning he ratcheted it up a little bit. He's in the 60s now. Fastball swung on, grounded to short, fielded by the shortstop Yamagata. He fires to first, and Maki gone on the first pitch he sees on a ground out 6-3 for out number 3. And that is going to do it here in the 5th. We're going to take a little time out ourselves. Got to go refresh our beverage. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. We're moving to the top of the 6th inning. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We appreciate you for being here. It is 2-0 BayStars over the Fighters. We'll put the music on loop, and we'll be back in a bit. Right back, everybody. Trevor Bauer is out completing his tune-up tosses, and we'll be ready to resume the action in just a moment. We got some scores for around the NPB. Other games, the Giants and the Eagles locked at zeros in the top of the sixth. Also in the top of the sixth, Swallows and Hawks locked at zeros. At the Vantolin Dome in Nagoya, it is a 2-1 lead for the Dragons over the Marines. At the Koshin Stadium, bottom of the sixth inning, it is 0-0 between the two Osaka-based clubs, the Buffaloes and the Tigers. Bottom of the fifth inning at the Mazda Zoom Zoom, it is 2-2 Lions and Carp. Well, the first pitch here to Shin Mizutani is a breaking ball that misses upstairs. The count is 1-0. 65 pitches through 5 innings for Bauer as he delivers another breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-0 on Mizutani. So 2 balls and no strikes. I was saying earlier, one of the things with Bauer, I would say he's an overthinker, overanalyzer, and I think sometimes he might give some of the hitters too much credit for what they're worth. I think he should just go out and trust his stuff and just go attack some of these hitters a little more than what he does. There's a fastball that misses down. It's now 3-0. And sometimes he gets a little too cute with his hesitation moves, sometimes with his breaking balls, but go with your bread and butter. There's a fastball right there. Take it for a called strike. That pitch there was at 96 miles an hour on the gun, as it's now 3-1 here to Mizutani. It might have been one of the harder pitches of the night. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed, and the count goes to 3-2. Our friend Jake says he is off. We appreciate you for hanging in, and hopefully you get a chance to come on back and hang out with us again in the future. And I'm sure we'll have a few more good stories for you moving forward. I got to find out who that player from Mannheim was, who was the Aussie who played against us as that ball was fouled away. I'll have that for the next time. 3 balls and 2 strikes it is to Mizutani as Bauer gets himself a new baseball. As he's ready to go back at it again as the right-hander ready to go. He rocks into the windup and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right field. This ball could be trouble, and it's going to get down off the wall. Mizutani rounding first, and he's heading to second as he's got to slide in safely with a leadoff double here to start the 6th. And that'll bring up the second baseman in Kazunori Ishii. That was a 4-seamer. Nice piece of hitting there by Mizutani. Really stayed inside the ball and went the other way with it. Played pepper with the right field wall. So Mizutani aboard with a leadoff double here to start the 6th. That brings Ishii to the plate. Ishii 0 for 2 tonight, has flown to center and grounded to second in his 2 trips to the dish. As the right-hander Bauer gets his sign. It looks like the wind is picked up as the players' jerseys are blowing a little bit more. Ishii squares to bunt. He pops it up. Oh, what a great effort there by the catcher Matsuo. He raced over onto the third base side. He dove, but he wasn't able to make the catch. It's just going to be a strike there to Ishii, but got to tip your hat. The effort was first rate. One very good bunt effort by the second baseman of the Fighters. Bauer breathes a little sigh of relief. I wonder how many more bullets he's got left in the gun here tonight. Can he get through into the 8th inning? We're about to find out. So here comes the 0-1 pitch as the right-hander holds set. Now he delivers. Breaking ball swung on, lifted into straightaway center field, coming in hard, but it's going to drop in front of Kuwahara. Comes up firing to the plate. The ball is going to get cut off, and stopping at third will be Mizutani. Ishii's got himself a base hit, so back-to-back hits here in the 6th inning. It's going to bring Kotaro Kiyomiya to the plate. So just like that, Jake leaves, and all hell's starting to break loose here in this one. So Mizutani at third, Ishii at first, and it is getting into the teeth of the batting order here for the Fighters. Kotaro Kiyomiya 0 for 2 tonight. Kiyomiya has grounded to short and grounded to first in his 2 trips. So really the first sign of trouble for Bauer came in the last inning. But certainly here, with runners on the corners and nobody out, he's going to need a sword. He's going to need a lot of things. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's going to be lined into left field for a base hit. The Fighters are on the board. And it is back-to-back-to-back hits as Kiyomiya's got himself an RBI single. Stopping at second is Kazunori Ishii. And the Fighters are on the board here. It's now a 2-1 ball game. Shin Mizutani comes in to score the first run for Hokkaido. And that is going to bring the pitching coach out to the mound and the interpreter and everybody else who has to communicate with Trevor Bauer. So runners at first and second, Franmil Reyes coming to the plate. It's not going to get any easier than this. Another good piece of hitting there by the third baseman of the Fighters. We've seen a couple of good swings in the inning. The 3-2 pitch to Mizutani, and then the pitch there to Kiyomiya where he stayed inside. The ball went the other way with it. So 2-1 now the score as the Fighters have cut into the lead of the BayStars. So Reyes coming to bat. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball down. A good stop there by Fushimi. Oh, the runner at second base, Ishii, had thoughts of taking third, but a good stop there. As it's 1 ball and no strikes to Franmil Reyes. Reyes is 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded to third and grounded to short. Batting .251 on the year, but that's the 11 home runs and 28 RBIs that pop for me. Got a chance to do some serious damage here as the 1-0 pitch ready to come here from Bauer. He kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on and missed. That pitch was at 96. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Franmil Reyes. Reyes batting from the right side as the right-hander Bauer holds to the set. Checks the runner at second, and now he kicks and fires. It's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right center field. Not deep enough, as moving underneath it is Watari, and he collides with the center fielder Kuwahara. Tagging at second and advancing over to third is Ishii. They're going to get the ball back into Shugomaki. He runs it in to kill the play. Oh boy, we're going to have to see who actually came down with that one. Might have been the center fielder Kuwahara who cut in front and caught it and fell behind. Unbelievable. And regardless, Reyes has gone for the first out of the inning. It's going to advance Ishii over to third. And it was Kuwahara, the center fielder, who came right in front of Watari to make the catch. Oh, they're going to have a couple of conversations in the dugout about that. That could have been some serious damage. Well, now it's going to bring Chusei Minami to the plate with runners on the corners and 1 gone. Minami 1 for 2 in this one here tonight. He's got a single and 2 trips. He's also grounded to short. You get to Instagram tonight, you got to try to find that one. That was a absolutely bizarro play in right field. Remember, these guys are top paid professional players. There's a fastball that just misses outside. The count is 1-0. Bauer not really happy with the call from the home plate umpire. His emotions tonight have been rather kept in check. By our counts here in this one tonight, Bauer's only got himself a couple of strikeouts, and it happens to be both to the pitcher Itoh. There's a fastball that just misses inside. I'm not sure where that pitch was. The pitch on the first pitch was outside, and that one was inside. Suddenly the plate is shrunk here for number 96. So 2 balls and no strikes. Waiting his turn on deck is the center fielder Go Matsumoto. Bauer steps off the backside of the rubber. He wipes off his forehead as he's ready to face the right-handed hitting Manami again. So 2 balls and no strikes. Bauer works to the set. Now he kicks and fires. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. It's now 3-0 to Manami. So Bauer getting himself into a bit of a pickle here. Let's see if the manager Shinjo greenlights Manami at 3-0. As the right-hander Bauer works again to the set position. Here comes the 3-0 offering. Kicks and fires. Breaking ball misses down the way he wanted. No part of Manami. Walks him on 4 straight pitches. It's going to advance Kiyomiya over to second. Ishii is at third. It's going to bring up the center fielder in Go Matsumoto to the plate. As the shortstop Kyoto comes in to give a couple of words of encouragement to Bauer. Just looking ahead to the bottom half of inning number 6, it'll be Satsugo, Matsuo, and Kyoto to come to bat. The pitcher's spot in the batting order is 5th. I would think that if he was able to come up to bat next inning, I would think that that could be a pinch hit situation. 82 pitches here for the American right-hander. It's been the last couple innings that not have been going his way, as the first pitch coming to Matsumoto on the way. Fastball swung on and lifted foul behind home plate, and the count is quickly 0-1. Matsumoto officially does not have an at-bat in this one. He had a sac bunt in the second inning and a walk in the 5th. He was raced on the double play in the 5th inning. So no balls and 1 strike. Again, the right-hander Bauer getting his sides from his catcher as he works himself to the belt. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. There's a fastball that is swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Matsumoto. Bauer ready to go back at it again. He looks in and he gets the sign from his catcher, Matsuo. And the 0-2 pitch coming to Matsumoto. Here it comes. And there is a fastball that is spiked into the dirt. Good stop there by the catcher. That makes the count 1-2. I think I could see what he was doing there. I think that was probably a split finger pitch that bounced up to the plate at about 54 feet. We'll look at it again, and that's exactly what it was. Probably a good decision to go after the hitter with the splitty. His splitter's been decent tonight when he's thrown it. But what's strange about that one, he wasn't wider than the 2 seams. It looked like he was straddling a seam with that. So a little bit different grip than maybe what I would have anticipated. Here comes the 1-2. As the pitch is on the way. There's another one that's down in the dirt. Matsumoto, did he go? Oh, they said he didn't. I'd like to get a look at the replay on that one myself. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The first base umpire said he held up. Maybe he did on second review. I would like to see the side angle on it. Yeah, probably did. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is here to the center fielder of the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters. Fighter fans cheering their side on. They do have quite a bit of a traveling crowd for this one, as there's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to short. They're going to have to hurry. Over to second for 1. Back to first. And it's an inning-ending double play to get the speedy Matsumoto on the backside. That's going to go in the books as a 6-4-3 putout, and that is going to end the inning here as Bauer is able to get himself out of a jam. There was 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 3 hits. There was no errors, and there was 2 runners left aboard. Your score as we move now to the bottom half of inning number 6. It is the BayStars 2 and the Fighters 1. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action right after this.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Setsugo, Matsuo, and Kyoto to come to bat. That would be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the BayStars, as they will be facing Hiromi Itoh here. At least we think he's still going to be Hiromi Itoh, and that's who it is. All of a sudden, Itoh looking like he's the one who's got the pitch economy on his side. 69 pitches through 5. As the first pitch swung on by Setsugo, it's popped up on the left side. It's playable. Underneath it is Kiyomiya, and he's there to make the catch. And with one pitch, we got one away here in the 6th. That's going to bring up the catcher in Shion Matsuo. Well, for Matsuo, he is 1 for 2 in this one. He's got a single in 2 trips. He's also grounded out to second. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a fastball that's taken in center cut for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike it is. Right-hander Itoh kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul down the first baseline, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Some late night action here for everybody. It is approaching the 4 o'clock hour Pacific time on the West Coast, 7 a.m. Eastern approaching as well. Fastball swung on, lifted down the right field line, giving chase and sliding. Did he make the catch? Oh my goodness, Chusei Manami makes the grab as he slides into the wall in foul territory. And that is going to retire Matsuo. I don't know if that ball would have stayed fair or not, because there's not a lot of real estate down that right field line in foul territory. But a great catch on the run there by Manami to retire Matsuo for the second out. We're getting a look at this one here again on the replay. Hard to tell. We lose sight of the fielder by the stands on that angle from the first base side, but nonetheless, what a great play by Manami. There's the first pitch, fastball that Kyoto checks a swing on, and it's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Some top drawer defense here in this one. There's a fastball that is waved at and missed, and now the count goes to 0-2 on Kyoto. So no balls and 2 strikes. Again, the right-hander Itoh kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and missed. And the word I would use is overmatched there, as Kyoto's down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning. And that is going to do it here in the 6th for the BayStars. They go quietly, and don't look now. That's 8 in a row retired by Itoh. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now moving to the top of the 7th inning. 2/3 of this one is in the books. It is a 2-1 lead for the BayStars. We'll be back with the top of the 7th in just a few. Hang with us, everybody. We'll be right back. We got ourselves a 2-1 ball game. We'll be back in just a few. Appreciate everybody for listening in tonight on the Last Rounds Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters to come to bat for the Fighters here in the 7th inning. That's Fushimi, Yamagata, and Itoh. Interested to see here if they are going to stay with Itoh, if they will consider going to the bullpen here after 6. I'll speculate and say it depends on what Fushimi and Yamagata do. I think that Itoh has been cruising now. Trevor Bauer on at 87 pitches, as he is going to be facing the bottom 3 in the batting order. One would anticipate this is going to be his last inning. First pitch breaking ball that misses outside. The count is 1-0. As he would more than likely pass the torch to the bullpen. As the 1-0 is on the way, there's a breaking ball that misses up high, and the count goes to 2-0. Be curious to see what we're going to see out of the bullpen for the BayStars. Is Rowan Wick going to come in? As there's a fastball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 3-0. This is how the last inning started with Mizutani, and then he was able to come back and battle until Mizutani doubled off the wall. So we got 3 balls and no strikes here. As Bauer delivers, there's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count goes to 3-1 on Tori Fushimi. Because the bottom part of the batting order is there for a reason. They can't hit at this level. These are the guys you want to pick your fight with. There's another fastball taken for a called strike. And now the count goes to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes as Bauer again gets his sign. As he rocks into the windup and delivers. There's a fastball as Bauer falls to the ground. He lost his footing. He just lays right there on the ground. That's going to be ball 4. He's not very happy. Now he's going to kick the mound a little bit. So ball 4 to Fushimi as Bauer ends up landing, and he ends up falling off to the first base side, literally. So he's going to need a little moment here to collect himself as he walks off the backside of the mound. I wonder if they're going to get the grounds crew out. Do a little work on that landing spot. A little bit of gardening maybe. Regardless, Bauer has walked the leadoff hitter here in the 7th inning. It'll bring Shu Yamagata to the plate. But it is going to bring a pinch runner in here to run for Fushimi at first, as the Fighters are going to be going to the bench here. It is going to be number 12. Who's come in to run, and we can't get a number to see who that is right now. I don't know who number 12 would be. We're going to have to try to catch that one here in just a moment. As they throw over to first base, and getting back in time is the base runner. It is Shu Yamagata at the plate. He is 2 for 2 tonight. He has doubled both trips. It looks like Ito's night might be done because it looks like that they have a pinch hitter moved into the on-deck circle. So we'll have to see exactly what happens. So manager Shinjo potentially tipping his hand. Sometimes they'll send a pinch hitter out, but then they bring the pitcher to bat. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So Yamagata waiting here. On the pitch from Bauer. He squares to bunt. He pops it up. And this ball is going to get caught. Oh, not a very good bunt at all. That is going to retire Yamagata on a pop-up to the catcher for the first out of the inning. Got to be able to see the ball down. And that he didn't do. That is going to retire him for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the pitcher spot in Hiromi Itoh. We'll have to wait and see who is going to come up here. So Ito's night could potentially be done That'd be a shame because he'd retired, what was it, we say 8 in a row? But that is what you get when you're playing in the Central League with their rules. So let's see what the manager Shinjo has up his sleeve here. Nope, it is Itoh coming to the plate. So I believe it was Daiji Nomura who was on deck. Itoh squaring to bunt here. And the first pitch from Bauer is a breaking ball that's inside. They say that he went after it. That's going to make the count at 0-1 to Itoh. Itoh has struck out twice tonight. Facing the American right-hander here. Itoh again squaring to bunt. As Bauer holds it to the set, pitch on the way. It is bunted foul behind home plate. Now the count goes to 0-2 on Hiromi Itoh. The left fielder Shun Mizutani waits his turn on deck. Should they stay out of the double play as that ball was bunted foul? So the whole park knows it. Itoh with 2 strikes on him is already squaring to bunt. As the right-hander Bauer kicks and delivers, it is a ball that is bunted foul behind home plate, and that is going to do it. That's going to be strike 3 as Itoh has gone for the second out of the inning. Manager Shinjo there with his mask on and not looking very impressed. So Itoh has gone for the second out. It's going to bring up the top of the order and Shun Mizutani to the plate. Mizutani 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a double in 3 trips. He's scored the only run for the Fighters. As the right-hander Bauer approaching 100 pitches. Here comes the pitch. Kicks and fires. There's a breaking ball down. Nice stop there by the catcher Matsuo. The count is 1-0 to Mizutani. Runner at first is Fushimi. 2 gone here in the 7th. BayStars are clinging to a 2-1 lead. They were the first ones to score. They scored in the first inning, and they scored in the 4th. The Fighters got one back in inning number 6. Here comes the 1-0 pitch as the right-hander Bauer works set. Now delivers. Breaking ball down. There goes the runner down to second. The throw down to second is into center field, and up with it and throwing it over to third is Kuwahara, and sliding in safely is the pinch runner. It's not Fushimi. We couldn't get a number. That is going to be a stolen base. Making his all the way around. Trying to get the number on the one it was listed as number 12. Unless it was, it's Kota Yazawa. Actually, he's a pitcher, but he's a dual player is Yazawa. So that is who had come in to run. So Kota Yazawa is going to get himself a stolen base. He's going to get himself all the way around to third on the throwing error from the catcher. So now the tying run is less than 90 feet away. 2 balls and no strikes to Mizutani. As Bauer holds set, now delivers. Breaking ball misses down and away. The count now goes to 3-0. Kazunori Ishii waiting his turn on deck. Bauer trying to wiggle himself out of this jam here. 3 balls and no strikes. Our friend Black Snake USA, who came in wanting for Bauer, well, hope you didn't jinx him. There's a fastball that misses outside. It's going to be ball 4. Mizutani is going to be aboard with a walk. It's going to bring up the second baseman, Ishii. And by our counts, that's the 3rd walk issued by Bauer tonight. He has walked 1 in each of the last 3 innings. Also by our counts, he's only allowed 5 hits tonight, but 3 of them came in the 6th. I remember Sparky Anderson said a number of years ago, if you got yourself into a jam 1 inning, he'll let you out of it. You get into a jam in another inning, he's going to take you out. Well, this is the 2nd jam in back-to-back innings. Bauer's got himself into. So Ishii 1 for 3 tonight, has a single in 3 trips. He's also flown to center and grounded to second. As the right-hander holds set, kicks and fires. There's a fastball that misses way upstairs. I got to say, I think he's done. I think that if he can get out of this inning, there's no doubt about it. You can bet dollars to donuts they're pinch hitting for him as he's up second in the next half inning. He's got to try to find a way to get out of it here. As the 1-0 pitch is coming, Bauer holds set, now delivers. Fastball taken for a called strike. That was a good pitch, right under the hands. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. I'm just curious to see if they can hold this here, how they're going to bring it home, the BayStars, especially coming in the 8th and the 9th innings. Be interested to see what they're going to use on their back end. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And there is a fastball swung on. It is lined right to the third baseman. Oh, my goodness. For a rough night for Ishikami, he came up big on that one as he makes the grab, and that is going to do it. Kaz Ishii hit the ball right on the screws, right to the glove of the third baseman for the 3rd out of the inning. And so he avoids disaster, does Bauer. No runs in the inning, no hits, no errors. 2 runners left aboard on the 2 walks. Your score now as we move to the bottom half of inning number 7. It is a 2-1 game for the BayStars. We'll be back in just a few. Hang tight, everybody. The good stuff is just about ready to come. We'll be right after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be coming to bat the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the BayStars. That means Ishikami, Bauer, and Kuwahara, but one would expect that Bauer's night will be over. Hiromi Itoh continues to pitch here for the Fighters as he will begin his 7th inning of work. As we mentioned in the last half inning, he has retired 8 in a row. So he has really settled in as he will begin the 7th inning here. So Ishikami, who made that beautiful catch to end the top half of the inning, is up at the plate here, and the fastball misses up and away for ball 1. 76 pitches through 6 for the right-hander. We were talking about how Bauer was very effective through the first 3. But boy, oh boy, Itoh has really settled down. As there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field. Not deep enough, as underneath it, it'll be Nami. He's going to make the catch. That is going to retire Ishikami for the 1st out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up the pitcher's spot in the batting order. But as we said before, I just can't see Bauer coming out to hit here in inning number 7. I don't know if he's had his best stuff tonight either. As it is, well, maybe I stand corrected. Trevor Bauer is stepping in here to face Itoh, and the first pitch is a fastball that misses up and away for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. Well, good on the BayStars. They're going to leave their American right-hander in to pitch, so get ready. We're going to see him in the 8th inning. I don't know if that's something to be said good about Bauer or bad about the bullpen of the BayStars. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count goes to 1-1. Well, if they're letting him hit, that tells you he's coming back out. He's at 104 pitches. As the pitch on the way is a fastball that misses inside, and the count goes to 2-1. Personally speaking, at this point, I think I would be going to the bullpen for him. But hey, you know what? This is old school baseball. It's just like it's old school radio. As there's a fastball that swung on and missed, and Bauer is in the books. He's going to be gone for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone. It'll bring up the top of the order in Masayuki Kuwahara. Yeah, if he's got to come to bat, they're definitely bringing him back out to pitch, because why would you let Bauer swing the bat? He is 1 for 22 now on the season with that latest strikeout. So Kuwahara stepping in. He is 1 for 3 today. He's got a triple and scored a run. He's flown to right and popped to third. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, 1 for 22. Absolutely not a pretty stat line for sure. Here's the pitch. Fastball center cut for a called strike. The count now goes to 1-1 on Kuwahara. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. Interesting. Franmil Reyes getting that, still staying in the game at first base. I would think that we might start to see some defensive changes in the next half inning. There hasn't really been a lot of movement other than behind the plate, as it is Yuya Shinto who is now catching for the Fighters in replacement of Fushimi. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. I think Kuwahara is going to want that pitch back. That was left over the plate, and I think he knows he missed it. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As the right-hander works himself to the set position, here's the pitch. Fastball swung on and lifted foul. It's going to go down the right field line, and the count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Itoh gets himself a new baseball, ready to go back to work. As he gets his sign from his catcher. And the 1-2, I don't know, he's got a lot to say there, does Itoh? As the 1-2 is on the way, there's a fastball swung on and lifted foul, and the count remains at 1-2. 10 in a row retired so far, or at least right now, by the Fighters right-hander. He has picked up steam here as this game has gone on. Classic pitchers duel. 2-1, BayStars have the lead. As the right-hander Itoh works himself to the belt. And here comes the 2-1 pitch. Fastball misses outside. Check that. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Had it at 1 and it was 1-2. We've been telling you 2-1, but you know what it is. Looks like the sunlight is wanting to poke its eyes up here. Getting near the longest day of the year. 4:10 in the morning Pacific time. There's a fastball swung on. It is popped up. It's going to reach the seats foul over on the first base side. The count remains at 2-2. Both starting pitchers have gone the distance so far. Bauer has 7 innings of work. Just a little bit better than Itoh's 7 innings. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. As Itoh working with his catcher getting the sign, he nods in agreement. Works himself to the chest. Here's the 2-2. On the way, fastball swung on, belted down the left field line. This ball could be trouble. Racing over, but it's going to drop down in front of Mizutani. Rounding first and heading into second base with a double is going to be Kuwahara. That's going to be his 2nd extra base hit of the night, to go along with the triple he had in the first inning. So a 2-out double they really had Mizutani moved over. He was playing more along the lines. I think it was more than just straight up. The ball hung up for quite a while over there. He came racing over, but the ball ended up bouncing down and then into foul territory. I got to tell you, I don't know if I like the way that Mizutani was playing that one. It's going to bring the pitching coach out to the mound to have a couple of words with his star right-hander. That was a quick conversation. It was a slap on the backside, and pitching coach Kato getting off the mound. Well, it's going to bring Ryuki Watari to the plate. Watari 2 for 3 tonight. He's got a couple of singles. He's driven in a run. And he also almost got run over by his center fielder Kuwahara, who leapt up in front of him to make a catch. So the runner Kuwahara at second with 2 gone here. Watari at the plate. And the first pitch ready to come here from Itoh. As he kicks and delivers, there's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Waggling the bat, batting from the left side here is the left-handed hitting Watari. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on, lifted foul down the third base line. The count now goes to 0-2. Not too many empty seats in Yokohama for this one, as the BayStars are clinging to a 2 lead here in the last half of inning number 7. Looking for insurance here as Watari waits on the offering here from Itoh. As the right-hander works himself to the set, he checks the runner at second. Here comes the pitch. On its way, fastball swung on and lined foul. The ball's in 2 strikes. It remains on Watari. So Itoh gets a new baseball, ready to do it again. It's still no balls and 2 strikes. Watari waiting on the offering from the right-hander who holds himself to the set. 94th pitch of the ball game on its way for Itoh. Fastball misses inside. It's going to be 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'd like to see the stable of relievers that Shinjo might have to roll out of his bullpen. To say a lot of power arms on the backside there for the Hokkaido Ball Club. So here comes the 1-2 pitch as the right-hander ready to go. Watari, I don't know what Watari is doing. It looks like he was wanting to square to bunt, pulled back, then he asks for time. Now he's waggling the bat here. And Itoh ready to deliver. And maybe not. Now Watari stands up and time's been called again. There's a little gamesmanship going on here between the batter and the pitcher Itoh. Now the home plate umpire has put the ball back into play. It is in Itoh's court. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Again, they're working on the signs as he works himself set to the belt. He checks the runner at second. Checks him again. Now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses down. Good stop there by the catcher. 2 balls and 2 strikes it is. As we mentioned, the catcher who's coming to the game is Yuya Shinto. And he will be in the spot where Fushimi was. In the batting order as the 2-2 pitch ready to come again from Itoh. Checks the runner, now delivers. Fastball swung on and another one lifted foul, this time down the left field line. 2-2 it remains here to Watari. So batting from the left side here, Watari again, ready to get to face Itoh once again as he works himself to the belt. He checks the runner at second. Oh, they got a daylight play going on, but no daylight coming from Itoh. There's a fastball that misses up and in, and the count goes full to Watari. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Certainly don't want to walk Watari. You got Kaita Sano waiting his turn on deck. It doesn't get any easier after this. Outfield is in shallow here. Got to try to be able to throw the runner out at the plate on a base hit. Manami is also toward the right field line. Really playing this hitter to pull. There's a pitch that misses down. It's going to get away. It's going to be ball 4, and Watari pretty good at bat. As he's going to earn himself a walk. It's going to put runners at first and second. It's going to bring Kaita Sano to the plate. Got to like it. The managers are just letting these 2 pitchers stay in there, especially the aces of your staff, or at least guys who would be considered to be aces. I think of the New York Yankees. I think of Garrett Cole. When Cole is on the mound, he is the one that you got to go with. Gets himself into that trouble. He's your horse, just like Paul Skeens. You got to let Paul Skeens be the man. Skubal in Detroit. Well, Itoh in Hokkaido, same deal. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the third base line. Count is quickly 0-1 to Sano. 2 balls and 1 strike. Got to tell you, though, the game has really come to a drag. It had a pretty good clip to it through the first 5 innings, and all of a sudden we've got past the 5th inning, and they've dropped anchor, both of these teams, and we are just kind of spinning around. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count goes to 1-1. It has been a good ball game. There's no doubt about that. 2-1 here. BayStars getting the first 2 runs. Got 1 in the first and 1 in the 4th. Fighters are able to get their run back in the 6th inning. Interleague play. This is the first game of the 2nd series. The right-hander Itoh holds to the set. There's a breaking ball swung on it. It is fouled away off the glove of the catcher, and now that runs the count to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So another baseball is issued, and kind of Sano stepping in, waiting here on the offering. We got 1 ball and 2 strikes. Itoh holds set, now delivers. Fastball comes in, sign, and back Sano off the plate. It's now 2-2. If I had to get the stopwatch out, I'm going to say it's probably a good solid 25 to 35 seconds now. By the time the catcher gets the ball back to the pitcher, it's just slowed down that much. Now I kind of wish for the American style or the North American style pitch clocks to keep this game moving. So here comes the 2-2 pitch as the right-hander looks at the runner at second. Now he kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to the right side. Oh, a nice play by Ishii, who slides on the outfield grass, and he is able to pick it up and fire to first, and that is going to do it. Sano's going to be gone on a ground out, 4-3. That's a web gem right there for the Fighters defense, and that is going to do it here for the BayStars in their half of the 7th. There was no runs in the inning. There was a hit, no errors, and 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 7 complete innings. Your score is the Fighters trailing the BayStars 2-1. We'll be back in just a little bit with all the action on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel when we return. Well, we are moving ourselves to the top of inning number 8, and Trevor Bauer is going to be coming back out here to continue his work as it is top of inning number 8. Bauer here will be facing the 3, 4, and 5 hitters of the Fighters. That'll be Kiyomiya, Reyes, and Manami. And the first pitch is a fastball swung on it, is popped up into shallow center field. Coming in on it is Kuwahara. He's underneath it, and he makes the catch. And with one pitch, we have one away here in inning number 8. That's going to bring up the first baseman in Franmil Reyes. So 2-1 BayStars have the lead here. As Reyes steps into the plate, he is 0 for 3 tonight. He has grounded out twice and flown out. Average has slipped to 250 on the year as the right-hander Bauer kicks and delivers. Breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Reyes. Reyes, well, one of the few players in the NPB when he gets in the batter's box is in scoring position. As the right-hander Bauer kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball that just misses outside. Count goes even to 1-1. Got to get through this part of the batting order here, does Trevor Bauer. 1-1 on the way. Breaking ball swung on, grounded softly over to third. Fielded neatly by the third baseman, Ishikami, and he throws to first, and that's going to retire Reyes on a ground out 5-3. He's in the books for the second out of the inning, and that is going to bring up the right fielder in Chusei Manami. Got to tip your hat here to Ishikami. He had a rough start to this ball game, but he's made a couple of nice plays in the last couple innings. And who knows, maybe at this rate, maybe we see Bauer for another inning. I would think not, but I didn't think we'd see him for this one. Well, that brings Manami to the plate, who's 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a single and 2 trips. He's also drawn a walk as the pitch on the way is a fastball swung on, and it is taken on one hop, but it's bobbled by Mackey. He's going to have to hurry. He throws to first, and it's not going to be in time. Going to have to wait to see how they're going to score this one. It was a tough play for Mackey. He had to go into the 4-hole. He was able to knock it down. By the time he picked it up, he wasn't able to make the play at first base. Manami can still get down the line pretty good. He had to make that throw from shallow right field, and there was no way he was going to get up there in time. I'm going to give him a base hit on that one. But boy, oh boy, it looks like Manami's night is done. A pinch run for him. That's going to be Ryo Isobata in to run. Interesting. Wouldn't have saw that coming. So Isobata, the pinch runner, more than likely he's going to go into the ball game. And I would think in center field, probably pushing Matsumoto over to left. Fastball taking it for a called strike. The count's 0-1, and one would have to think that Mizutani's night would be done as well pretty soon here because he is not exactly the Gold Glove specialist. So no balls and 1 strike. Got to keep your eye on Isobata. He can run a little bit. Actually, he can run a lot. As the right-hander Bauer holds set. There goes the rudder. Nope, he slams on the brakes. As there's a breaking ball that misses down, the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. He's about to getting his lead over at first base as the right-hander Bauer leans in as he works himself to the belt. Here comes the pitch. Instead, they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner Isobata. Sabata's got himself 8 swipes on the year. As we said, he can run a little bit. They're going to have to be quick to the plate here. They throw back over to first, and getting back in time as the base runner. As much as I like the jerseys, I'm not sure I like the numbering system on the back of the jersey for the BayStars. Just like the Hiroshima Carp have the red numbers on the red jerseys. They got a blue number on the blue jersey. That makes it really difficult to be able to pick up. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. There goes the runner. Fastball swung on, popped up on the infield. Coming over underneath it is the first baseman, and that's going to be Sano to make the catch. And that is going to do it as Matsumoto's gone for the third out of the inning, and that is going to do it for the Fighters here in inning number 8. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left to board. Moving to the bottom of the 8th inning, it is going to be Maki, Setsugo, and Matsuo to come to bat. Is that going to be the end of Bauer? Well, we were throwing dirt on him in the last inning, thinking that would be the end of him. But we might see him again in the next. Who knows? We'll be right back after this timeout. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be coming to bat here for the BayStars in their half of the inning. It'll be the heart of the order, Maki, Setsugo, and Matsuo slated to come to bat to face Hiromi Itoh. Take a double take to see if Itoh is indeed staying in the game for his 8th inning work, and I can't think of a reason why he wouldn't be. He has been a little bit more effective on his pitches than his counterpart, Trevor Bauer. And he is the ace of the staff, and you want to turn it over to your horse to try to bring it home for you. So the bottom of the 8th inning here upon us. And the scoreline is still 2-1. The right-hander Itoh ready to go here to face Shugo Maki. 103 pitches for the right-hander through 7, and there's a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. This would actually be a very interesting Japan series if these two teams were to hook up. I think the Fighters are still a year away, but you never know. There's a breaking ball swung on, is lifted in straightaway center field. Moving underneath it is Isabata, and he's there to make the catch, and Maki's going to be retired for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 gone. That is going to bring up the left fielder in Yoshi Setsugo. Well, is it still going to be Setsugo? He has struggled here today. He is 0 for 3. He's popped a short line to left, and he has struck out looking. And that's exactly who is still in there. So they're trusting the faith with Setsugo. He's batting $159 now on the year. A homer and 4 RBIs. Fastball misses upstairs, and the count goes to 1-0 on Setsugo. 1 ball and no strikes. Right-hander again working to the set. As the pitch is on the way, there's a fastball swung through and missed, and the count now goes to 1-1 on Setsugo. Right-hander again working himself to the set position. The 1-1 on the way. Fastball swung on and lifted foul. The count goes to 1-2. Well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see what the BayStars will do for their ninth inning of work. If it is going to be EC coming out of the pen to try to seal the deal. I look ahead at the lineup, and it's the bottom three hitters in the order for the Fighters to come up in the last half or the top half of the ninth. Here's the 1-2 pitch. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. And it is going to be Satsugo down on strikes for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone, and it's going to bring Matsuo to the plate. So for Cheyenne Matsuo, he is 1 for 3 tonight. We were kind of speculating as to who they might be throwing in tomorrow night's ball games. Tomorrow's starting pitchers, at least for this series. It is going to be Yamazaki for the Fighters going up against Onuki for the BayStars. There's a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Matsuo. Matsuo batting tonight 1 for 3. He's got a single and 3 trips. He's stolen a base. Also scored the second run of the game for the BayStars as the 0-1 is on the way. Fastball swung on, ripped into right field. This ball is going to get trouble. It's going to get down, and it's going to get into the corner. And this one here, it's going to be a double here for Matsuo. That's his second hit of the night. So a 2-out double, and that's going to bring up the shortstop in Yoda Kyoto. We'll keep our eyes peeled to see maybe if they decide to go to the bench. Or if they're going to stay with Kyoto here in this one. Fred Bradley done in that last half inning said about low-cost uniform numbers are the bane of scorekeepers everywhere. Yeah, absolutely. The colors, blue on blue, nothing worse than a number blue on top of a uniform that's blue. It does look like Kyoto's night is going to be done. And it is going to be Miyazaki coming into pinch hit. So this is going to be Toshiro Miyazaki. As Miyazaki steps in, he's hitting .297 on the year with a homer and 14 RBIs. It's going to bring the pitching coach Katawa to the mound to talk to Itoh here. So his conversation is over. So Miyazaki into pinch hit, and that'll be the end of the night for Kyoto. Rightfully so. He was 1 for 3. He was Kyoto at the plate. We got an opportunity here to add a run on here, and Miyazaki has been swinging a decent bat this season, so take your chances here. I would also think that the shortstop that we will probably end up seeing in that next half inning more than likely will be Kaito Mori. So Miyazaki standing in, 111 pitches already here for Itoh as the right-hander works himself to the set. And here comes the pitch. Fastball misses up and in, and the count is quickly 1-0 to Miyazaki. I do have the open base as Ishikami waits his turn on deck. But I wonder if you might get a double switch here if they put Miyazaki into the ball game. Maybe get another pinch hitter here for Ishikami should he come to bat. Make a couple of substitutions, although I'm a little surprised if Miyazaki is going to be in for defensive purposes. There's a fastball swung on, is lifted into deep right field. Moving back underneath it is Matsumoto, and he's going to be there to make the catch, and that is going to do it here for the BayStars and their half of inning number 8. Well, they had no runs. They did have a hit, no errors, and they stranded a runner aboard. We're now moving to the top of the 9th inning. Your score is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters trailing the Yokohama DeNA BayStars 2-1. And what do you know? Trevor Bauer is coming out for inning number 9. So possibly a complete game shutout here for the American right-hander. We'll check that out when we get back after this, as he is going to try to seal the deal here in this one. We'll be right back in just a few. boxing match between Bauer and Itoh. Bauer has thrown 112 pitches through 8, Itoh 113, but Bauer is the one who has the lead at 2-1. We'll be right back in just a couple moments with all the action after this. He's trying to seal the deal here, as it is a 2-1 ball game. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters slated to come to bat here for the Fighters. There are some defensive changes for the BayStars. And the first pitch on the way is a fastball that misses upstairs. And the count is quickly 0-1. It is a pinch hitter here for the Fighters. As we are racing through to get it, looks like it is Kengo Yoshida who is on to pinch here. And the pitch is a breaking ball swung on it is pop foul. Count goes to 1-1. So Kengo Yoshida is the pinch hitter here, one of the backup catchers for the Hokkaido Ball Club. So he would be followed by Yamagata and the pitcher's spot in Itoh. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball, waved at and missed. Count now goes to 1-2 on Yoshida. Trevor Bauer here trying to close the deal. As the right-hander rocks himself into the windup and delivers. Split finger pitch in the dirt, and Yoshida can't hold up. He's down on strengths for the first out of the inning. And by our account, that's the first time somebody not named Itoh has struck out in this ball game. By our accounts, that looked like it was a knuckle curve. That is going to be strikeout number 4 here recorded. Bradley Dunn says sword. Yes, sir. There it is. As the first pitch coming now to Yamagata as a fastball swung on it is popped up into shallow right field, racing in on it. And there to make the catch is the right fielder. Looks like it was Kohar has moved over into right. As Watari, it looks like his night might be over. But regardless, the right fielder makes the catch here for the BayStars for the second out of the inning. It's going to leave it all up to the pitcher's spot in the batting order, which will not be Itoh, I can guarantee you that. Let's see who they are bringing to bat here. So Bauer 1 out away from a complete game victory. This is going to be number 30. Yeah, number 30 for us is Yuya Gunji. So Gunji on here as the pitch comes in, and it's a fastball that misses down and away. Count is 1-0. So Gunji looking for some late inning heroics. As the 1-0 ready to go here as Bauer rocks and delivers. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count now goes even to 1-1. Once this game is done, we'll give you we'll give you a final recap of this one. We'll also give you the scores from around the NPB, and then we'll call it a night. Reminder, we're not going to be on tomorrow night. Saturday night North American time or early Sunday morning. We'll be back on again. The YouTube airwaves will post our schedule as we can. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count goes to 1-2 on the pinch hitter, Gunji. Not so sure about that one. That was usually they always complain about the North Americans or the Latins not getting calls from the Japanese umpire. I think if I was the Japanese hitter, I might want to be complaining about not getting a call. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded to short. This should do it. Fielded neatly by the shortstop, who fires to first, and that is going to do it. That was Maury over there. That's going to be a ground out 6-3, and Trevor Bauer is going to get himself a complete game victory. Come back and wrap this one up for you. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. Your final score is the Yokohama DeNA BayStars 2 and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters 1. We'll be right back in just a moment, everybody. Appreciate you for listening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Thanks again to Matt Hollis for you and the support you give to our channel. Well, we have ourselves a final score here. We'll give you the roundup of this one. We'll give you the scores from around the NPB, and then we'll call it a night. BayStars got on the board in the first inning, a leadoff triple off the bat of Masayuki Kuwahara. And then he was brought home on a single by Ryuki Watari. That gave the BayStars an early 1-0 lead. Moving to the fourth inning, a leadoff single by Cheyenne Matsuo. He stole second. And with one out, up stepped Taiki Ishikami, and he had a RBI double to bring home Matsuo with the second run for the BayStars in this one, and that's pretty much all they needed. Fighters got one back in the sixth inning with back-to-back hits. Leadoff double by Mizutani, single by Ishii, and then a single by Kotaro Kiyomiya, bringing home Mizutani with the first and only run for the Fighters. And that was your final score, 2-1. Both starting pitchers go the distance in this one. Trevor Bauer goes 9 innings, allowing only the 1 run. And Hiromi Itoh, well, he went 8 innings. He was just not quite as good as Bauer. And he is done here in this one, and he will take the loss. Bauer goes to 4-3 on the year. Itoh goes to 6-3. Just looking around at the scoreboard around the NPB, as all the other games are still underway. This is the only game at this point that is a final. In the bottom of the 8th inning, the Eagles have a 2-0 lead at the Tokyo Dome over the Giants. It is a 2-0 lead for the Hawks over the Swallows. That's in the top of the 9th inning, so the Swallows are back to their ways of not being able to score runs. 3-2, the Dragons have the lead over the Marines in the bottom of the 8th. It is 0-0 in the top of the 9th between the Buffaloes and the Tigers. Bottom of the 8th inning, it's 2-2 between the Carp and the Lions. And again, your final score here, 2-1 for the BayStars. Once again, everybody, we're not going to be on the airwaves tomorrow, but we will be on Saturday night, which would be Sunday in some parts of North America. So if you get a chance, check out the channel. Our schedule will pop up at some point late tomorrow, early the following day. We get a chance to see what the pitching matchups are going to look like on Sunday. Once again, everybody, have a great night, and we will catch up with you again in a couple of days' time. Have a great night, everybody.